Okay, so this is video number 12. And this is the beginning of chapter 8, section 1. So remember down in your bottom, 8.1. And this is all about the law of sines. And so what this is used for, this is used to find missing side lengths or the value of angles in an oblique triangle. So an oblique triangle is a non-right triangle. Okay, so remember, just a little bit of review, that if you have whatever your triangle is, the angles are going to be in capital letters, so A, B, C. You might see Greek letters, alpha, beta, gamma. You're going to see those. And then remember that the corresponding sides go across from them in lowercase letters. So A, B, C, right? Okay, so to do the law of sines, we have to make sure I don't get some weird marks on the screen here when I do this. So to do the law of sines, you need to have an angle and its corresponding side and either one other angle or one other side. All right, so to do the law of sines, you need to have an angle and its corresponding side and either one other angle or one other side. All right, so that being said, the law of sines is 3 sets of ratios. And remember, with ratios, you're just going to use cross multiplication and division to solve them. And you are going to choose 2 sets of the 3 and that's based on the information that you're given to solve. And here is what those look like. It looks like A over the sine of A is set equal to B over the sine of B is set equal to C over the sine of C. Okay, so these are all sides on top, angles on the bottom. Now, keep in mind that it doesn't really matter if the sides are on the top and the angles are on the bottom, or the angles are on the top and the sides are on the bottom, as long as you're super consistent with that. Okay, so let's go see how this is going to work out in an example. All right, so here's our first example. Solve the triangle. And when you solve the triangle, we are going to solve to the nearest tenth. And I took this example out of the book in Varsity Learning, so you could go and take a look in chapter 8. This is one of the examples in there. And the triangle looks like this. And they give you A, B, and C. and tell you that A is 98 degrees, B is 43 degrees, and the side, so little b is 22. Okay, now if you go back to your notes, it said you have to have a side and its corresponding angle, which would mean for the 98 degrees, I'd have an angle, a side over there. I don't. For C, angle C, I would have a side over there. I don't. And for this side given, the 22, I would have an angle given there. And I don't. So right now, I can't use the law of sines. But I can easily find angle B, right? So I'm going to hit undo a couple times just to get those arrows out of there. And what we're going to do is we're going to say angle B is equal to 180 minus angle A and angle C. And so that's 180 minus 98 minus 43, and that is equal to 39 degrees. So we can plug that in over here. And now I know angle B and its corresponding side. So that said, remember that here is our formula. We have A over the sine of A is equal to B over the sine of B is equal to C over the sine of C. So I'm going to pick two of these. Now, I have B and the sine of B. I have to use this guy because I have that angle and the corresponding side. So it doesn't matter which other one I'm going to use. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just use C. So I'm going to use B and C to start out. So I'll just rewrite the equation so you can see what I'm filling in. Now, when you do this, you should have 3 of the 4 parts. If you don't, you need to do something to make sure that that happens. So now we're just going to plug in what we know. Side B is 22 over the sine of B, which is sine of 39. Make sure you put in the word sine. And that's set equal to side C, which we don't know, right? That's this side over here. We don't know what that is. Over angle sine of C, which is 43. And now we're just going to cross multiply and divide. So let's grab myself need a highlighter. So when we cross multiply, we're going to do this is set equal to this, right? So back to pens. I'm going to say 22 times the sine of 43 is equal to C times the sine of 39. Sine of 39. And then I want to solve for C. I want to get the C by itself. So I'm going to divide by the sine of 39 on both sides. Okay, now when you do this in a calculator, what I would do is I would go and do 22 times the sine of 43, hit enter. So evaluate your numerator, hit enter and get a value, and then divide by the sine of 39. I would not do that entire thing all at one time. And if you do this correctly and accurately, what you should get here is C equals 23.8. And remember, we're going to the nearest tenth, so I've already rounded in my work. And so we can fill in this side of the triangle over here, 23.8. And now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this process to find side A. Okay, so not much is going to change here. I'm just going to move some things over. I'm going to grab all this stuff, move it over here. And all I'm going to change to do find the other side, let's just put this here. I'm going to now do B over sine B equals A over sine of A. So the B side's going to stay the same. 22 over the sine of 39 equals, I don't know side A, that's what I'm trying to find, over the sine of 98. Cross multiply. So again, I'm multiplying the 22 times the sine of 98. is equal to a times the sine of 39. And I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 39. And again, what I did here was I evaluated the top, got a number, and then divided by sine of 39, and got a equals 34.6. And then went and labeled my, okay? So that is how I would use the law of sines to solve that triangle. Let's see how it's used if you have two sides and only one angle. It changes the process just a little bit. So in this one, we were given two angles in one side. Okay, so we're going to go to a new screen. Here's another example. We're going to solve the triangle. And this one we're going to measure to the nearest tenth again. All right, so this triangle is going to look like this. Draw to the best of your ability. We'll have an alpha here, a beta here, a gamma here. And you're given 35 degrees is alpha. 8 is side B, and 6 is side A. And that's all you have the information for. So notice here that what you do have is an angle and its corresponding side. So right off the bat, you're set up well to start this problem. So you do have A over sine A, or alpha in this case, and we know the side B, so we're going to use B. What we don't know is this sine B, right? So we're going to fill those guys in. So side A is 6. The angle A is 35, so this is sine 35. Side B is 8. We don't know angle B. That's what we're trying to find out. Sine of B or beta in this case. All right, so we're going to cross multiply. That's going to give me 6 times sine beta. So I'm going to just do this over here. So 6 times sine beta, or sine B, is equal to 8 times sine of 35. And it's good if you make sure you put parentheses around those, just like I did. Don't just write 6 sine B or whatever. All right, so we're trying to solve for sine B, so we're going to divide both sides by 6. And remember, when you don't know the value of an angle, you're going to use the inverse. So inverse sine of 8 times sine of 35, all divided by 6. Now, again, you can, if you're using Desmos, you can probably plop that all right in there. You might want to just do this. I'm very careful when I put things in a calculator, and I do things pretty carefully. So I would go 8 times the sine of 35 and hit equals, get a decimal, or get whatever you're going to get. And then I would divide by 6, and then I would go second sine, second answer. So second sine gives you inverse sine, and then I'd go second answer, which will take this long decimal that you're going to get here. So this is going to equal some big long decimal point, and it'll use this answer right here. If you're not familiar with how to use this answer key on your calculator, you should have a chat with me, because it'll save you a lot of work if you don't know how to do that. That answer button is on your calculator. It's on every calculator. The red OGT calculators, it's on the graphing calculators, it's on the Desmos scientific calculator. So get in the habit of using that. But I would break these down into little pieces parts unless you're really good at using your parentheses in there. Okay? All right, one quick little thing that I just want to point out. So here's the last question. This is a varsity question taken right from there, and it says solve for the remaining sides and angles if possible. And there's no picture with this question. If not, answer DNE. In all boxes. And then it says the ordered pairs alpha A, beta B, and gamma C are angle side opposite pairs. Oops, PAIRS. So what that means is if you have a triangle, wherever you put alpha, A is going to be the side that is across from it. And that's from this guy, okay? Wherever you put beta, B is the side that's going to be across from it. And wherever you put gamma, C is the side that's going to be across from it. And you can put those wherever you want. You just need to know that that means one is an angle, one is a side, they go together, okay? And the question that I had looked like this. Alpha equals 62 degrees, beta equaled 118 degrees, and A equaled 9. So here's the deal. If you go to find gamma, so in here, gamma would be equal to 180 minus 118 minus 62. And what happens is 118 and 62 are 180. So gamma actually equals 0 degrees, which means you have no triangle. So this would be a case where all answers would be D and E. Okay, so that would happen if in this instance. All right, so all of varsity, I think there's only 8 questions. It does have 6 blanks for each one, but they give you 3 pieces of information. Just retype those pieces in and then solve for the other 3. Okay, so this is 8.1, law of sines. 8.2 is law of cosines. It's a little bit of a meatier formula that you're going to use, and you're also going to do some area in there. Okay, so that's it. Toodaloo.